when it comes to exiting, people who are so obsessed with trying to get the highest price ever, I would rather take like the third highest price if they can be like, yo, we can close to in the next 4 or 5 days. This is like a masterclass in like rage bait. Someone needs to create a Bible survival game. Prescreen was the first focus app for Christians, and then like gave it like 2-3 months, and then there's like 70 listings now, all called like Bible focused.
Is there any like common advice that you feel like if everyone knew starting out, it would kind of accelerate their progress?
2 things I see. Number one, everyone wants to become like Blake Anderson or Zach and all that kind of stuff. I always tell people, yo, like,
while most people are struggling to build their first successful app, this guy just sold his 4th one. Prescreen is an app that makes you pray before unlocking your phone, and it hit 120K ARR in 6 months and got acquired within a week of him tweeting about it. The craziest thing is this wasn't beginner's luck. This is a system. This is Lots, and he's cracked the code on building viral consumer apps that actually make money. I'm talking about apps that hit number 1 in the App Store, generate millions of views on TikTok, and get acquired by buyers sliding into his DMs. The best part of all this is that he doesn't try to invent the next big thing. He just finds what's already working and then makes it better for underserved markets. One example is Prescreen. He saw apps like OneSec making 100K a month by forcing users to breathe for 3 seconds before opening Instagram. So he built the same exact thing, but for Christians, and suddenly he had people praying 4 times a day with 60% retention on day 30. So today I'm excited because you're about to get the complete playbook from someone who's built and exited multiple apps. You'll learn how to spot viral content formats before they get too saturated, why he targets Twitter followers of celebrity pastors to get 2-cent app installs, exactly why he optimizes for speed over maximum price to consistently turn apps into 6-figure checks. I think this conversation will completely change how you think about app building, marketing, and the art of the quick win. Let's dive in.
For those who don't know, this interview is brought to you by Superwall, the all-in-one platform for paywall management and revenue analytics for your mobile apps. Let's get into it. So you sold Prescreen. Just tell us the story of how you did this.
I think Prescreen first launched December 2024, and then we were able to scale it quickly using obviously UGC on TikTok, and we found like a hook that really worked out for us. I think we were running it for like maybe 5-6 months, got it to like 120K ARR, and then we just basically tweeted about it. And because I've sold multiple things before, like the tweet did numbers. And I think because it was just such an easy app to understand, right? It's just kind of like, hey, we block your apps. You then pray to unlock your apps. I had a few buyers DM us, and the buyer that we actually end up selling to was someone that wanted to acquire Bible Buddy like 2 years ago. We closed within like 1 week. So that was pretty sick.
That's awesome. Can you tell the story of how you grew it?
Yeah. So we have like, I think 10 or 12 TikTok accounts. We had an agency that actually helped us with that, about scaling that. And then we wanted to find different types of content that worked well, different hooks specifically. And what we found, or what I found generally of like UGC, is that you want people to be commenting a lot and engaging a lot. So we kind of did a lot of comment farming. And then we found that, oh, what's like the opposite of religion itself? And what would give kind of like the shock factor? And we're like, oh, actually, yeah. We'll probably give that kind of like shock factor itself. And, when we first kind of posted the type of content, we found that people commenting like, oh, why would you do this, blah, blah. But after a while, people kind of like, oh yeah, I really needed this app, and end up working out really well for us.
I feel like finding viral formats like this it takes a lot of tries for most people. How did you like find this? Because this is a perfect intersection of it actually shows the demo of the app, and then it's also kind of a controversial like viral hook.
Yeah, for sure. I think something that helped, I would say, is 2 things. I think what you need to do is find that one emotion specifically that you want people to feel after that content, and that one thing is. And then number 2, I'm a very big fan of make your splash page. The splash page is when you open the app first, that kind of like first animation you see. So for us, it was the Prescreen kind of like halo thing coming up, making that really nice, and then using that for the content, because that helps kind of like brand things. And then you don't actually have to go through the onboarding process within the TikTok itself. It's kind of like, okay, you show it for like half a second or second, and then the next time you show the phone, you just show like a screen that's like the one that's shareable essentially.
I feel like this is a really good app idea. Did you actually think about Opal? Because I know Opal makes like 5 million ARR. Did you specifically think like, how do we get some of this market?
I've always kind of heard of Opal, and then there was this kind of big movement towards focus and people caring about their screen time. So that was something that was kind of like interesting. And then I saw that there's like OneSec, ScreenZen, and like other ones as well. And I remember, I think it was specifically OneSec, I downloaded the app just to try it, and literally all it does is that you open Instagram, it just says, hey, hey, breathe for 3 seconds, and then it opens Instagram for you. And I was just like, wait, hold on, they're making 100K a month. What the hell? And because like I've normally built in the faith space myself, I was like, okay, cool. The same trend I see, let me just copy that, but for a different industry, and then see how that works out.
That's crazy. I remember seeing this too. I feel like OneSec was one of the only ones that had like the, hey, just take a deep breath. But it makes sense. It's like everyone is just farming attention and trying to harvest as much screen time as possible. And this app is kind of going against that. It's like objectively like a terrible user experience. Like we're just gonna force you to like sit there for like 5 seconds, like not doing anything.
That's what kind of crazy. So like we had people praying 4 times, because I'm Christian myself. We had people praying 4 times a day. We had 60% day 30 retention of like daily praying 4 times a day. So that was like super insane.
It's not just like the screen blocker, you know, instead of just sit there for 5 seconds, it's like, oh, you actually pray during those few seconds that you would normally be doing other things. But then you also, there's like a retention aspect where your people are actually like in the app using it. Was TikTok organic the main growth driver of your first like 10K MRR?
I would say TikTok was, and then we then did a lot of like meta ads for Instagram. That did really well. The best day we had was like 39 cents per install in the US market. And then like, I think we end up averaging out at like 70 cents or 80 cents per install in the US market, which is insane because like most people are getting like $1.50 and they're happy about that.
Do you feel like it works one-to-one? Like you can just make organic videos and then if it does well, you can just put it into ads?
So this is how I think about it. It's like when you post on TikTok, you don't control the audience that sees it. So if the general audience sees it and interacts with it and it gets lots of views, there's something about that specific video that people like for some reason. So if you now put ad spend behind it and then show it to the exact audience that you want itself, you should expect super low CPIs on the end. For us, there was like one video that was like, out of all the ones that just did so well, but it had like 70% of our spend.
70% of the installs was like one video, you said?
Yeah, literally. We had like 20 or 30 videos of that kind of like angle, but that one specifically just did so well. And up to now, I can't tell you exactly why.
And that was organic or ads?
It started off with organic and then we repurposed that same creative.
Interesting. So 70% of your downloads organically were coming from that one TikTok video. And then it's like, obviously, okay, I'm going to put that one into an ad. And then it also performed really well as an ad as well.
Exactly.
That's interesting because this one doesn't have as much of the angle.
Yeah, compared to the others. Yeah, that's true. So maybe that's like one thing of it. Something I realized as well is that also like people really like, we were very strategic about the songs that we put. So we made sure that we put like super Christian songs as well. So you see people commenting like, oh, I love this song, all that kind of stuff. So like that also helps.
When you actually show the app in these videos, is there any thought to like what part of the app you show inside the ad? Because you don't want it to look too salesy or like obviously like an ad, right?
The first thing is the splash screen, and the splash screen I care a lot about because it kind of shows that the branding, first of all. Number 2 is that the main part of the app. So for us, it was like a prayer. And then the third thing was like the congratulations page, you've done your first prayer.
Yeah, so that was like the let's pray screen. Congratulations. Interesting. So you're kind of like showing the end result. And you said you were getting like 50, like less than 50 cent cost per install on these ads?
In the US market. Yeah.
Wow. I assume that was profitable then, right? You're probably getting revenue from each of those. Yeah.
Well, one thing we did find, right, because again, every app is kind of different. You kind of have to find what's the strong point of your own app. Our conversion from install to paid wasn't like anything outstanding whatsoever compared to like all the other apps out there. We're kind of thinking like this. If our conversion is like 2.5%, for example, what that's basically telling us is that we are spending X amount for like, let's say 100 users to come in and only 2.5% of them are converting to paid users. Another way of looking at that is that you're basically telling 97.5 people to f off. So we were like, okay, well, our retention is super good. So what we should do is actually have a free version, but then have ads instead, because we know that 60% of people, of the 100 people, are still going to be here doing 4 prayers every single day for 30 days. So that really worked out for us because I think we were making like 5 cents per user per day on ads. It took us like about 14 or 15 days to get a return on investment.
5 cents a day for 30 days. It's like $1.50 per user and it's only 50 cent cost per install. And this is for 60% of the not converted users. That's like completely lost revenue if you hadn't done.
Exactly. I advise some people who do apps and like they're very much like conversion is one of the hardest things to improve. Sometimes I just ask them like, what are the stats currently and where the problem currently is? And they tell me, oh, I show one paywall. I'm just like, wait, what? Just show another one.
You said you advise people.
We create viral app founders. This is normally for people who have created their first app, and what they want to do themselves is that they want to be able to go from idea to launching their mobile app for the first time, and also help around viral TikTok, etc. So we're just a community, pretty active every day. People just ask questions about what they wanted to build. There's a guy called Sean. He maybe started like 4 or 5 months ago, and then he would kind of think about different apps. At first, it was like, I want to do like an AI social app, or about. I was like, look, bro, just get your first nut first before you start doing all these like crazy stuff. And then you create something called a car spotter, and it's basically like a Pokemon but for cars. You take a car, you take a picture of it, and then it kind of stores it for you. And he recently just hit 8K MRR.
In how much time?
I think it's about 4 months or something. And all he has is one TikTok account and one Instagram account.
Is there anything else interesting to share about PrayScreen?
I just think generally the faith space is also interesting, because we did 4 ads a day for each person, because they have to watch your ad before they do a prayer. And then I kept on seeing the same ad, and it's called Whiteout Survival. Live now, guess how much revenue they make a month across both iOS and Android?
A month? I would guess maybe 5 million a month. I don't know.
Open a Sensor Tower right now. Whiteout Survival or something.
53 million a month.
And then iOS is 51. Again, obviously I'm doing something else now. I'm doing like another creator stuff. But like, I think that someone needs to create a Bible survival game. That these things print so much money, bro. And like the Bible is something that doesn't have any kind of like IP. And there's so many stories in the Bible. If someone wanted to do this, they should reach out to me. I'll probably help fund it. I think there's something here, man, because games print like crazy, man.
That's a really good idea. A Bible-themed city builder game with hyper gamification and microtransactions. I don't know where this came from. Like, I feel like this just came out of nowhere, but I think it's been around for a while.
When I say every ad I saw for like 3 weeks was always them. And I was just like, how are they doing this?
That's crazy. I know mobile games have always made a lot of money, but this one's like so new. Maybe it kind of feels like one of the first in its meta of maybe just the ad type, because the game itself is not actually that different. This could be a good way to find ideas. Just look at their other ones that are newer and then kind of see what they're taking bets on right now. It's probably hard to do games really, really well though, right?
The skill to create the game, yes, but these things have been played out over and over and over and over again. There's probably some kind of templates out there you can start with, and like how they do their go-to-market, like it's just in-app ads and other apps. So it's like, if I can then say, okay, every prayer app that does in-app ads, I just want all my ads served in there itself for this kind of like gaming thing. I think there's probably something there. But yeah, games print and they're profitable as hell.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of these viral, like media in general, like games, videos, everything, it just seems like it's not as saturated by Christian content. And PrayScreen kind of proves that, like Bible Chat kind of proves that.
PrayScreen was the first focus app for Christians, like so much so that you typed in like Bible focus and like the only listing was us, and then like gave it like 2-3 months, and then there's like 70 listings now, all called like Bible focus, like so many. And it's just pretty funny how like everyone just kind of jumps on the bandwagon.
So you've had other apps in the past, right? So you had Bible Buddy, you had 100,000 monthly active users.
I created Bible Buddy to be more so like a therapist for Christians specifically. And so instead of it just kind of regurgitating like chapters to you, it was more so like, okay, like you can use this as a therapist or a journal that you can chat to. And then afterwards, it kind of responds to you and then kind of relates it to a chapter in the Bible. And actually how we originally grew, it wasn't actually an app. First, it was a WhatsApp bot, and then like it started costing me like crazy because the WhatsApp business API or whatever charged like 2 cents per conversation window or something like that.
And then you grew through some weird marketing channels like Twitter ads.
So I found that hardcore Christians normally have an affinity to like one pastor or like one like celebrity pastor. So I was kind of like, okay, if you follow that pastor, that's probably like a good indicator that you're Christian. So Twitter at the time, I don't know if they do that now, they allow you to target the followers of specific accounts. So I think I just went on, I was like, okay, cool, who are the top 20 or 25 most famous pastors? Okay, cool, what are their Twitter accounts? And then just like target their followers. This is one of the first apps that I created. So like I found it very hard to find how to monetize it. So I started doing ads at first, which was more like banner ads, I remember. At the time, we did do the interstitial ones. I couldn't crack how to monetize it properly. I think maybe I was just more afraid. I was kind of like, oh, like if I monetize like Christianity is that bad. I don't know. So that's kind of like my first one. I think I definitely took a lot of learnings from that.
I'm just trying to look at if the follower ads are still a thing. I think they are. I think I was looking in the Twitter ads dashboard the other day. Oh, there it is. Follower lookalike.
Yes, that was it. I don't think any other platform does this. Maybe Facebook for Facebook pages, I think.
Okay, and then tell us about Magic Music too.
Magic Music came after a friend of mine created like a, I can't remember what it's called, Chat something, and it was when ChatGPT first came out, and it was exactly a replica of ChatGPT, but they just did it for like different languages and all that kind of crap, and they were making $500,000 a month, and I was so because I was just like, bro, like I should have done this. So I told myself, I was like, yo, the next AI thing that comes out, I'm gonna wrap that so quickly. And then like I think like a week later, Suno announced like, oh yeah, Suno AI music. And within 4 days, I created Magic Music. I was just like, yeah, I'm wrapping the hell out of this. And there was no API. Even up to now, there's no API. I think it's also the most fun I've had building an app. So I was actually emailing the founder of Suno because I was basically telling him like, yo, I'm wrapping your right now because they don't have an API. So I was kind of like asking like, yo, like I need more songs. Like I'm trying to do the legitimate way, but like you're not allowing me to do the legitimate way.
Do you want to talk about toxic traits?
So basically it's create an app where you upload screenshots of conversations and then it basically tells people toxic traits. This is like a masterclass in like rage bait. So girl emotion, like, oh, she's like kind of like, I don't care. It says looks like a big red flag to me. What do you say, girls? And then specifically you show something that doesn't actually look like a red flag because then people are going to argue in the comments. Like something that just seems like ambiguous. So obviously he just says you demand respect, but you haven't done anything to earn it. And then you get in the comments, people argue with each other, which obviously then baits everyone.
Yeah, everyone's saying like he's right. From the perspective of the girl, she's saying, wow, this guy's so toxic. Look at this big red flag. It's like you demand respect, but you haven't done anything to earn it.
Then we do the same thing. See the splash page thing? This was our splash page at the time. So at least then people who are, okay, cool. This is the brand. And then I think we just showed them after this, the upload of the screenshot. And then I think then the results page. This wasn't real, it's like an example thing, but then people were like, okay, cool, this kind of makes sense as to what the app does.
That is a high quality rage bait. They're all kind of the same thing, but with different hooks, it looks like. Oh, and then different demo a little bit. I didn't think twice. I immediately sent this text to an AI, look at the result it gave me, and then scan. I mean, it's like similar to the whole like Blake Anderson, like, you know, looks max stuff where you like scans a thing and then it gives you a score and then you're curious about what the score is. And you can use GPT to just analyze each generation. Interesting. This one is more of a talking head.
Yeah. It's a bit of a different format that we saw that kind of like worked. It's actually for sale. It has Android, iOS, it's fully functional already. It already has 330 pieces of content already ready to go. And we haven't really tested ads or anything like that on this at all.
Great. It's for sale. Yeah. If you're watching this video, reach out to Lots. Maybe you could buy this app. What would you do as the buyer to like continue like growing this?
I would say like the content pieces that we found that work, just repeat them over and over and over and over again. Then number two, I'd actually look at different languages as well. So I think that's something that helps a lot.
Is that a strategy that you've done with your other apps? Like you find an ad format or an organic format and you like have it in other languages?
Normally, whenever I get a buyer, that's not the first thing they do, just because like everyone's competing for the US market, but there's also like so many other markets that are super big. It depends on the niche itself.
US, Philippines, Canada. Yeah, interesting. Because I feel like most app founders, if you're based in the US or you know that the US is a good market, you just start there, but you don't really think about, okay, you could expand to other markets. Just from like all the people that you talk to, like I'm sure you get a lot of frequently asked questions of people who are just starting out. They see the opportunity of building consumer apps and going viral on these platforms. Is there any like common advice that you feel like if everyone knew starting out, it would kind of accelerate their progress?
Two things I see. Number one, everyone wants to become like Blake Anderson or Zach and all that kind of stuff. I always tell people, yo, like get your first nut first. And I'm not saying you can't get there, but it's very hard for you to get there on your first try. And I'm just like, yo, if you can get something to like even 5 to 10K MRR, you can sell that thing, right? And it's kind of like, okay, this is my first win. I was able to learn things, whatever it is, I can then build the biggest make. I'm very different to like the Blakes of the world. Like there's something what they're doing, but like I'm very good at repeatably doing the same thing over and over again. Yes, my MRR doesn't get to the millions or AR doesn't get to the millions because I'm not scaling it itself. But it's like I get lots of shots on goal. So that a lot of people kind of come to me, they're like, I'm not hitting this huge numbers. I'm like, bro, like right now, if you can sell, I think for $500,000 right now, what could that do for your life? And then you're more comfortable to then take more big swings in educational way.
Yeah, I mean, with all these things, these are all like kind of a twist on something that already existed, right? Like Praise Screen, you had a great run with the revenue and then you exited. It wasn't like a brand new invention. You kind of combining a concept of religious apps and Christianity with Opal and like screen time apps that kind of already existed with Bible Buddy. All of these did super well, and you're like getting all these learnings. Like you learned how to hit #1 in ASO, you learned how to find underpriced channels with like Twitter ads, and then with this one you've learned how to do viral TikTok. That's actually really good advice though. I feel like a lot of people like they see the big success and they just want to have the same thing, but they don't see that it's kind of, you need to have the skills to actually have that big win. And the best way to get the skills is to have like smaller wins to start out. And like, it's not small, like the 500K in your pocket is like pretty good. It's a pretty good win, right? Plus you get the skills. Like that's kind of the main thing.
I think it's the skills and the people that you also meet, because like now if I wanted to do this Bible game thing, like I know like 20 people who will fund the entire thing because they've seen me do it over and over and over again. So for them on their end, it's kind of like it's a de-risk thing because hey, he already knows what he's doing. It's kind of like the people you sell to, even the people that you chatted to that maybe you didn't end up selling to. For example, Bible Buddy, someone that I chatted to, didn't end up selling to them. They came at Praise Screen like a year and a half later, and they closed that within 3 days because they already knew me from before.
I guess one more question I just thought of, if you're going for an exit like that, I feel like people don't think about exits nearly enough because they see the MRR, and in these days it's like MRR is the thing that you flex. It's like, oh, I'm making 10K a month, or I'm making 100K a month, and then people think of that as like, okay, well if I take home 50% of that after tax, like okay, now I'm earning 50K a month in my bank account. But then they don't think, okay, what if you multiply that by 12 months and then multiply that by an exit multiple? You get a ton of cash up front. So I guess I'm curious, what are any like benchmarks that you've seen for exits?
I've seen numbers all over the place, right? I've seen like 2x to 6x. That's like the spread I've seen of ARR generally. And what I always tell people is like, before you build anything, ask yourself, am I building this for cash flow or am I building this as my life legacy? Number two, when it comes to exiting, people who are so obsessed with trying to get the highest price ever. And I'm just like, bro, most deals fall through, like 90% plus. I would rather take like the third highest price if they can be like, yo, we can close through in the next 4 or 5 days. So that's kind of like my advice.
The other thing is it has to be a good app, you know, like there needs to be a reason for the buyer to want to acquire the app, to see some growth potential.
And yeah, you got to give them like reasons to purchase, right? And this is the reason that I never do internationalization of my apps in terms of the different languages myself. If I go to you, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, buy toxic traits. We've tried everything, it just didn't work. But if you frame it as, okay, we've got this content, this thing's already working, you haven't even tried this, and this. To you, you're thinking, oh, actually, yeah, this collects some key things that can kind of pull on to kind of grow this super quick.
That makes sense. That's just how it works with like private equity and acquisitions. Like each type of operator specializes in a different stage of the business. So for you, it's like you specialize in the 0 to 1, getting a 200K ARR, and people who are good at the internationalization and the other 1 to 10 kind of growth stage, they will highly value that. So if you don't have a whole year's worth of ARR, does that decrease the multiple?
I think 3 months and above is good. And if they can see like consistent like revenue, like they don't want to be able to see like one day was 100K MRR, the next day was 20K, and they don't want to see that. But if it just looks consistent, then I think that helps. I think definitely the longer, the better.
From the buyer's perspective, I think they understand that the seller, you see the growth potential, but you're just interested in other things. Like you want to do creator check, or you want to build a mobile game. Like there's just other things that, you know, you've lost passion for this specific app, or you just don't care enough to like really invest all your energy into it. So from their perspective, it's just like a win-win. Like, hey, I'm going to actually make some more money with this.
Exactly. And I think if you offer them stuff like, you know, a month or 2 months of like in the transitionary period, will we help sweeten the deal.
Right. Some advising. Yeah. This was super value packed. Thanks for hopping on.
It's cool, man.
By the way, this is the Super Well podcast. We have a lot more interviews on the channel, so check them out. They're all super tactical, just like this one.